Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Leigh Fuge, and in this video today we're going to be taking a look at this guitar. This is from the guys at Stanford Guitars. This is the Crossroad Marquee. The Marquee is a really interesting take on the classic single cut design. You can obviously see straight away what this thing is inspired by, so that should instantly put a sound in your head about what you think this thing's going to sound like. There are a few differences though, which we will get into. But before we do that, I just want to say I'm not getting paid for this video, but Stanford Guitars have very kindly sent me this guitar, which I will be getting to keep. So for anyone who's unfamiliar with Stanford and the work they do, they are a company that are based out of Germany, but these guitars are manufactured in China. They all sit at around about the £1,000 to €1,000 mark, some just below and some just above. Most of their guitars are inspired by classic Gibson style designs, but with their own twists on them. The Marquee is obviously based on that classic single cut Les Paul style look, but there are a few little twists to this guitar. So first of all, this is actually a flat top, not a carved top. So on a Les Paul style guitar, we typically expect to see like an arch top with some nice carving, but Stanford have actually gone for a completely flat top. But this is where it gets really interesting. This is actually a semi-hollow guitar. So we've got a center block, just like a 335 style, but we've got these hollow wings. So what that means is this guitar is incredibly lightweight, but it really, really rings. Even just in the room through the camera mic, very, very resonant, sort of big tone before you've even plugged this thing in. So it sounds fantastic. Just hearing it in the room, it really sounds like a lively guitar. Like the other two guitars in the Stanford range I featured on the channel, this one also comes with its own hard case, so straight away it's ready to go. The setups that these guys send from the factory are pretty good in my opinion. In fact, maybe even some of the best I've seen on some guitars in this price point. I've not actually tweaked this at all. The action is pretty much exactly how I'd want it. It's perfect to play straight out of the box. So the body of this has this maple top in this classic amber finish. I believe the center block's mahogany. I may be wrong, but the top is a maple cap. Obviously, like I said, it is a flat top. We've got a solid mahogany neck in what they call a big C profile. So it's pretty chunky. It's sort of got that 50s Les Paul vibe. It's not as fat as like say a real 59 would be, but it's definitely got some width to that neck. So if you like a bigger necked guitar, it's very comfortable in the hands. The fretboard on this is made from a material called Catalox, which is otherwise known as Mexican Royal Ebony. So it's a little bit darker than rosewood, very nice material, and it's got a 12-inch radius. So coupled with the big neck, it's still got quite a lot of speed in there. It still feels like you're playing a modern refinement on a classic guitar because you've got that big 50s style neck, but the slightly more modern 12-inch radius on the fretboard. The frets themselves are medium jumbo, and we've got the dot inlays. Up at the headstock, we've got these classic Clousson style vintage tuners. These hold tune pretty well. I've not noticed any stability issues, and I believe this is a bone nut as well. Down here, we've got all of the usual single cut refinements. So we've got the Tune-O-Matic style bridge. We've got this pair of PAF pickups that they get wound specifically for their guitars. These pickups sound fantastic. We've got the usual three-way switch, and the usual configuration down here of 2 volumes and 2 tone controls. Now, one thing that's really cool about the design of this guitar is the neck heel. Now, we all know one thing that's really difficult on a single cut guitar is getting right up the neck, because it's got that big bulk where the neck meets the body. But check this out. Look at that design. There's this really cool cutaway. Now, this part here is actually sloped, as well as this sort of additional carve here, so you can really get your hand right up the top of the neck, and the, that bulk that's usually there with a single cut is completely gone. So you can really get up on those upper frets with ease. You don't have to worry about your hand getting stuck like you usually expect on a single cut guitar. So let's take a listen to how this thing sounds. So I'm going to go through a bunch of different tones with clean and driven sounds. I'm plugged into the Blackstar Studio 10 6L6, which is mic'd with a Lewitt Audio LCT 440 condenser mic. And on top of the amp, I've got a Surfy Industries Surfy Bear Classic spring reverb unit. As we go through the video, I'm going to kick on a couple of different drive pedals to show you different sort of gain stacking textures with this guitar, but we'll start with a clean tone. So I'm just going to play a bit and move through the pickup configurations. So these pickups have a lot of clarity. On the clean tone, they're very warm, very rounded, but you've still got that nice note separation. The real magic happens when you push this through a drive circuit. So I'm going to kick on the Chevtone Effects Messiah drive now, which is kind of like a Marshall Plexi / Blues Breaker kind of thing. And that will really make this guitar come to life, because you get that big sort of single cut into a Marshall style sound. That's where the harmonics and the sort of overtones of this guitar really start to shine. So that's the point there where we really start to get a sense of what this thing can do. You can hear that super clear note separation, even when you're playing on the bridge pickup with that kind of extended A chord. You can really hear every note that this guitar puts out. Now, the semi-hollow nature helps that. There's always a little bit more sort of chime and airiness to a semi-hollow style guitar. It doesn't have as much sort of incredibly fat low end that a sort of solid body single cut would have. It's sort of a nice blend between a Les Paul and a 335 style guitar. So this is actually perfect for someone who loves the aesthetic of a Les Paul, but maybe the weight is a bit of an issue for long gigs. This is perfect because it's pretty much half the weight. It's very light. You could probably do a 2-3 hour show with this and it would not hurt your back in the slightest. So now I'm going to stack up the gain a little bit more. So I've got the MXR Timmy drive on top of the Chevtone Messiah. So we've got 2 gain stages here just to show how much clarity these pickups still have, even when you throw a bit of gain at them. So they can definitely handle a bit of gain while still retaining the clarity. Now these pickups are also incredibly dynamic. They clean up really, really well. So I'm going to use exactly the same sound with both of those drive pedals stacked up. I'm going to start at 10 and I'm going to roll back the volumes to clean each pickup up. So we can get pretty clean just by rolling the volume controls back, and because they're PAF style pickups, they still retain all that clarity and all that chime. Now the only thing we haven't looked at is the tone control range, so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to play again, but this time I've just got the Chevtone Messiah on, and I'm just going to move the tone control from full down to 0 on each pickup so you can hear the range. So there you go guys, there is the Stanford Guitars Crossroad Marquee in this really, really nice classic amber finish. This really is a great take on the single cut design. I love the fact that it's a lot lighter. I've always loved single cut guitars. I've played them from a very young age, and to me this is a really interesting take on this for the modern player. Most of us don't want to be carrying gear that's too heavy these days. You know, it's quite nice to have something that gives me that sound but without breaking my back every gig. So it's really cool. It's like the perfect hybrid between a 335 and a Les Paul. It's very inspiring to play, and the neck is fantastic. I like that they went with the big fat neck. That is a really cool feature, I think. And that neck joint, that is something really special. I'm surprised more guitar companies haven't got on board with the incredible access that that thing gives you. If you watch the channel regularly, you'll know that I've already got a couple of other Stanfords here. They're a brand that I really, really like. I didn't actually know them until summer 2020 when I met them at Henning's house in 42 Gear Street, and yeah, we hit it off straight away. They make fantastic instruments for a fantastic price point, and I think, you know, as someone that's a working musician, I play a lot and I travel a lot for gigs and whatnot. These are really the sort of thing that I'm looking for. I'm looking for an instrument that can be a professional grade instrument but isn't going to cost me like $3 grand, but also plays good, sounds good, looks good. It ticks all the boxes. These guys have definitely managed to tick that box and keep it around about the £1,000 price point, which I think is incredible. So even though these are made in China, don't let that put you off. They are incredibly well-made instruments. This could easily rival any big name being written on that headstock. There's no doubt about that in my mind. So there's some links down below. You can go give these guys some love. Check out the videos that I've done for the other two guitars that I have, which are also in the Crossroad series. There's one that's the Crossroad Thinline 30, which is like a fully hollow ES330 kind of guitar with P90s, and the Crossroad Thinline 35, which is more of the typical 335 style with a pair of PAF humbuckers. Go check those videos out as well. These guys are really making some cool stuff, so go and give them some love. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know down below in the comments what you think of the sounds of this guitar. What are your first impressions based on the tones? And if you've tried one yourself, I'd love to hear about it. While you're down there, don't forget to hit the like and the subscribe button, and I will see you guys very soon. Thanks for watching.